Hi, I'm Samantha Kriegshauser from Adult Enrichment Center, and I'm here today with my friend Cassandra. She's also my coworker, and we're talking about dementia, living with dementia or Alzheimer's or mild cognitive decline. And today we're going to be talking about the environment. How do I make my home dementia
Okay.
friendly and still work for my life and the rest of my family?
Right.
And how does the environment affect my person living with dementia?
Dementia. Because the world doesn't change. Nothing. You don't get a voucher to go to Lowe's and do the next upkeep project, or so you kind of have to take what you have and make the best of it. Where would you start with that? What would you say here in the living room? What would be something that
It
in a
starts with looking
typical
around and kind of
yeah.
thinking about what could be a problem for my person. Okay, so as I'm going through the dementia journey, I may have eyesight issues because eyesight declines with dementia, depth perception. So in my home, I would be looking at throw rugs.
Okay.
And not saying that you have to get rid of every rug, but you can use things like carpet tack, other things to secure your rugs. But you might have to get rid of some of them depending on if the person is getting their foot caught on them. They're fall hazards, they're trip hazards. And with dementia, depth perception is one of the first things that starts to decline. Peripheral vision and depth perception. So my eyesight awareness of where I am. The other thing, like this rug here has lots of colors and spots in it. Dark colors on the floor can look like a hole to someone with dementia, so I may avoid stepping on that. There are some people who will use a black rug by the door as a method of preventing their person from eloping because they won't step on that black rug. Now, that's not true of every person,
Right.
but it does work for some people. But a lot of times, even with those eyesight, I may be thinking that these spots on my pretty rug here are things I need to pick up.
I was going to
so I
ask
can
you
fall
about the
over.
picking.
Yes. Like this couch may not be best for someone because it's like a linen texture. So if I have those little fuzzies, a person with dementia may repetitively pick.
Pick it. Yes.
Lighting is key. So you want to make sure that your home is well lit in those areas that your person with dementia may be going in and out of. Because like I said, vision is declining. But nobody wants to live in, fluorescent lighting, bright lights all the time. So think about having soft lighting, lamps, things that can light the path. So, technology is great. We have a lot of those lights that can go along the edge of the floor or that you can put in under counters that can illuminate the space without being glaring and super bright.
Too bright?
It can be. So think about lighting. Think about, like you said, okay, I built my house. So I was fortunate to be able to build it with 36-inch wide doors and level flooring throughout. But you may live in a 2-story. So what about the stairs and your person?
Right.
That is going to be a concern. So as much as you can, if your person can continue to navigate the steps, one, to keep their strength, but two, make sure someone is with them or they're holding on to the rail. You practice those things. Don't forget to hold on to the handrail. Some people end up moving their person downstairs so that they don't have to climb the stairs anymore. Bathrooms. Bathrooms are a big one. Stepping in and out of a tub. Once again, eyesight, depth perception. Where do most slip and falls happen? They happen in the bathroom. A lot of reasons why, but we also feel more vulnerable in a bathroom because, well, one, you're naked. And you automatically feel vulnerable when you're naked. Two, it's typically the coldest room in the house, not necessarily temperature-wise, but it's sterile environment.
Right.
It's not the warmest, friendliest place. Here you've got soft textures. In a bathroom, you don't have any soft textures. And you don't want those rugs on the floor. You want to have bars if you can. Not every bathroom has the potential to put in handrails. It was something we struggled with my mom because there was a shower on one side and then the sink, and there was no place to attach a bar.
No wall.
But I have found now that they make ones that are kind of freestanding that anchor to the floor.
Okay.
So it's not attached to a wall where you can yank it out or, need blocking in it to hold it steady. This one actually mounts to the floor and I can pull up on and off of it. So technology's come a long way.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking about environment, think about noise. Sound is a big one. Sometimes our folks with dementia or cognitive decline become hypersensitive to sound. So loud noises can startle them, can really upset them.
Yeah.
So, if you're living in a house like I do with two gentlemen who wear hearing aids, sometimes sitting on this couch is a competition for whose TV is the loudest. And I have to go ask, do you have your hearing aids in? Because your TV is competing with this TV here. That's fun.
Yeah.
But think about sound. You know, if you've got kids, you may have teenagers in your home. Are they listening to loud music? Is that agitating your person with dementia? So it's about the surfaces. If you have a room that your person with dementia stays in, like a little mini living room, like Dad has his own little den in here. Surfaces that we can clean are imperative because he spills a lot and, things get left. And so having things that are easily cleanable can help keep down a lot of trauma in a house.
What would you say is one thing when you were talking about depth perception? So, of course, we work at centers and have kind of seen and heard almost any and every. And so you quickly learn when depth perception for seeing the toilet, because it blends in with the wall, is not there. So we either keep going in the restroom and coming right back out. And it depends on where they are in their journey.
So a lot of bathrooms are white on white.
So the toilet is 9 times out of 10 white. And it's
got a hole in the middle. So if I had dementia and I'm looking at a white toilet in a light colored gray or white room and tile, and then you put that stuff around the wall so that you can clean it, and it's typically white.
Gotcha.
You
don't see the toilet.
I don't, and I don't understand what you want me to do. So you can use a different colored toilet seat. People don't want that in their house because it's not pretty, but it can be helpful. Having a different color on the wall so that it differentiates where the toilet is. And then having the bars there so that they can have access safely and be as independent as possible. Think about the kitchen. Put things up that could be dangerous. Think about safety. Do you have a lock on your door that your person can easily open and go out of? Where do you put the important papers or the mail? You don't want to just lay bills on the counter if your person collects paper. And a lot of times they do. They're picking up stuff. And remember, we talked about rummaging in one of our earlier sessions. And so I'm just picking up things. Well, then all of your important papers from the doctor, they're gone. And you may or may not ever see them again because you've got to find all the places they hide them. Don't leave medicines out, obviously. Cleaning products. A lot of medicines and cleaning products smell like oranges or fruity things. So we don't recognize the danger. We've actually had someone who picked up a spray bottle and sprayed himself in the face with it because he always sniffed things and he would be, oh, I'm smelling on this because he used his words differently. And because it smelled like oranges, he sprayed himself with it. So it was in his eyes and we had a whole thing. He was fine.
So when we talk about like depth perception, can you think of a time where you saw that was at work? They just did not have the ability to see, outside of what was right there in front of them.
Our Fort Bell Center, where we have the portico, that's white concrete. But before and after it, the roadway is black asphalt. So one day when our buses were lined up, we had like 2 or 3 buses out there. So we went to get clients off of all of the buses and get them in the center. We got to the one and our lady would not step off of the bus because it was on the black concrete. She thought she was stepping into a hole and she was terrified. So we sat her back down, but when we pulled the bus up and it stopped on the white concrete, she hopped right out and went right in. But I don't think people realize how much eyesight is affected with Alzheimer's and dementia. And that fear of you're forcing me into a hole, you want me to step there.
You're not going to do it.
No, they're not
going to do it.
And so they're going to become upset, terrified, or combative. And we think it's one thing and it's not. It was as simple as moving the bus forward and knowing that she would get off when she was on concrete that
what
she
she
recognized,
felt was
not a black hole.
Yeah.
That's why some people do put the rug in front of the door.
Gotcha.
It doesn't work for everybody, but it will stop some people from going out because I have to cross the black hole
That makes
to get
sense.
outside.
What would you say is like a definite no? Because, I mean, people are trying to do the best they can with what they have. They have a lot on their plates, and it's just best if I do this and then we move on. What would you say as we look at our environment within our home? What's a no? What would you say is just a no?
Locks on the top of doors.
Now, any doors?
So they sometimes, like a laundry room, they don't want
Okay.
their person to go into it because there's stuff in there that could be dangerous. So they put some type of a lock up on it. Well, a lot of times your person with dementia, that is the one door they want to go into, because what happens when you tell me no? It's what I want to do. So do it. You can lock it, but do it a little bit more discreetly. Maybe it's a lock on the handle, but your person is going to notice you going in and out of it. They're going to find the key. It's a thing. We've actually had some who had locked doors who were gentlemen who tried to take the door handle off.
Oh, okay. Well,
Actually got a screwdriver and removed the doorknob.
we'll get in there.
Because it was the one room that was locked. So you do what you can to be safe, but you just have to know that you can't protect them from everything.
Right.
And I have found in almost 25 years that locked doors are the one thing that I want to go after.
So you would say put the items in there?
I would say
Because they can't get to it.
No, find other ways to do it rather than just blatantly locking the door. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Childproof locks on like 2 cabinets. And then don't make a habit of going to those 2 and popping that childproof lock when your person
In
is sitting
front of
there.
them, yeah,
Because
yeah.
they do watch and observe.
Oh, yeah.
And today will be the day that they put
Absolutely.
together what you did and they're in it. You don't have to put your house under lock and key because you
Right,
live there and your
right,
kids live there.
right.
But you do want to be mindful that you don't leave out things that in this environment could be unsafe
Right.
for a person who doesn't maybe understand or recognize danger.
Right. Okay.
And if they do get into it,
Yeah.
make sure you know what to do. Make sure you know where poison control is. And make sure that your family has a plan.
Yeah.
Okay? Just so that everybody stays safe. Much like when we got grandkids running around.
yeah.
So we keep a lot of stuff
Yeah.
put up.
Yeah.
And then we have dad. So we keep different things put up. You got to live here. You got to function.
Absolutely.
But that environment also needs to be, it's your home. You need to feel at home in it. Just look around your house and think about what
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
a potential hazard. And do your best to live there and make it as safe as you possibly can.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
You got to
That's all you
live.
can do.
It is. It's always
Yeah.
fun when you have 2 different or 3 different generations living in the same
Yeah.
house and trying to accommodate everybody's
All of
needs.
them.
Today,
Yeah.
somebody's not going to get everything that they need.
Right.
But that's okay.
Right. You're doing the best you can.
You are.
Doing the best you can.
So, thank you for joining us today where we're talking about how to make the environment safe, how to create an environment, and things that you can do in your home to protect your loved one. Cassie,
keep
thank
in
you for
mind.
joining me.
Sure.
You can learn more at our website, www.adultenrichmentcenters.org, or you can follow us on our YouTube channel, Journey Together.